Hope you guys are all ready, as we have spawning at the top left corner of this map the blue Protoss from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. It is Zest.
And his opponent spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map, also from the team of Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up for the Red Terran player here.
Now, I have seen Zest do this kind of as of late, which is, I find it pretty interesting. He would send his probe even before it would mine off its first mineral patch. So right off the bat, he would just send it across the map. Now, usually that would indicate maybe a cheese of some sort, like maybe a proxy gateway or two. But he just sends it to his opponent's base, and just to kind of mess around with the SCV building the barracks. And I'm not quite exactly sure why he does this, because all the other Protosses I don't think really does this. So I'm kind of actually interested why he does this.
Right. At first I thought that it was going to be able to block the barracks from going down, but it just barely wasn't on time for that. So yeah, I think it could be a little bit of a fake out, you know, just to mess with the heads of his opponents. Now we do see that first Marine coming out, so that probe is definitely not going to live to tell any tale. It's just going to be, you know, tragically holding that single little mineral in its grasp. I don't even know how they hold those things, you know?
I know, right?
I guess via Carbot we know, or we can imagine that they have these little paddles or these hands that they use, but I don't think that is lore accurate. But anyways.
They kind of seem like T-Rex hands. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how how they be lifting up those mineral patches.
Yeah. I guess it did force Kier to, you know, watch out for that probe, make sure that it wasn't up to any shenanigans over on his side of the map. But speaking of shenanigans, we do see a Twilight Council coming up for Zest. Now, I guess, you know, this is Zest that we're talking about, so they're not exactly, you know, too out of the ordinary or anything like that, but it does mean that we will have a somewhat exciting of a mid-game, I think.
Yeah, this is gonna be a blank opening now. The question is, will he open up with 3 or 4 gates? Both of them are pretty viable. I mean, I guess even 2 gate is viable at some point as well. That would probably mean that Zest is gonna go for the early 3rd. But instead, it looks like it's going to be a robotics facility. Now, I think this robotics facility is being thrown down because he's not quite sure what's going on here in Kier's base. It could be like a 3 racks opening, but without any scout, he's going to play a bit safe. And instead of going for the early 3rd, he's going to plot down the robotics facility. And actually, going to throw down 2 more gateway. Okay, so he is going to go for that 4 gateway blink play.
I like this a lot. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Parting is the player most well known for 4-gate.
Yeah, I think he's originally the one that really made this kind of into the meta. Because back then, it usually was always, or almost always, 3-gate opening. And sometimes Protoss will kind of get away with a 2-gate if they scout that the Terran is going for a Widow Mine drop. Because you don't really need too much Stalkers to defend against that. You just need to pull your probes, and the rest of the Stalkers can snipe down those Widow Mines. But yeah, you know, Parting kind of started throwing out this 4-gate blink play because he's more the, you know, traditional aggressive kind of Protoss.
Oh wow! Now we did see some hot pickup micros. Zest also on point with his probes, making sure that only one of them is left in order to take the shot from each Widow Mine. So far, only 2 probes have been lost, so very well played. Very well done by Zest to defend these Widow Mines.
Yeah, for sure. Losing only very minimal Widow Mines. Now, However, because of this, it has allowed Kier to scout out what's up. And so, as you can see, he's throwing down the second bunker because he knows that this is a 4-gate blink opening, and he's gonna have to make sure to cover his grounds, both into the main base and in the natural.
Yeah, I like this. I like this move a lot by Cure in the natural. Just making sure that he has some SCVs actually pre-pulled. Now, they are no longer pulled in that way towards the bunker because the Stalkers blink up into the back of the natural. They will blink back out, but they did actually force a re-siege of the tank as well as an entire mineral line being pulled off the line. Now, at the same time, we do see the Stalkers rotating down to the south side of the map, trying to see if they can get another angle, possibly to blink up into the main. But look at this. We already see 2 tanks on the high ground, a bunch of bio, a filled bunker, and I don't think that these Stalkers are safe.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have a lot of openings here. And Secure just kind of set up his defenses really early on. And so, yeah, Kier having a really nice defensive setup. And it's making it really hard for Zest to kind of commit in through. He does go ahead and get on top of the tank there. There's only one. And he does clear up the rest. Oh man, a lot of these Stalkers are still alive. So well done there by Zest of finding. However, the question is it enough damage?
Can estimate maybe around 3 Stalkers went down. For 3 Stalkers, you need to kill more than 3 SCVs, I believe. But if Zest were to take a third base behind this, which he does have the minerals for, I think it would be fine. Okay, there we go. We finally see the 3rd Nexus going down at 7 minutes into the game. Now, we did see the Warp Prism trying to get another angle up into the main. Not quite able to find it as there was bio in reserve on the high ground ready for it.
Yeah, I do like Kier's position right now. He's kind of defended with a kind of relatively minimal losses compared to the amount that Zest has lost. And you know, Zest is third base quite late, and it's gonna go up at the same time as Kier's third base, which is not a good sign.
Now we do see that both players are kind of trying to transition out of this very aggressive early game. We do see that the Colossi are being built, as well as Thermal Lance, the Colossus range upgrade for Zest. Now, these Stalkers are finally going to be chased back across the map as the Bio and the Raven for support are going to chase it. Excellent Blink Micro, just making sure to shave off whatever Bio you can before the main engagement over on the Proton side of the map. Ooh, now we do see a few losses. Those Marauders with the concussive shell are going to be key in this engagement. Now, we do see that a scan did go off, confirming that there is a Colossus and a Sentry ready and waiting for this army to come up the ramp.
Yes, Zest is going to have to try to get on top of that ramp area to make the push a bit more slower, because he is down on the army supply. Needs a little bit more time for those additional warpins, but luckily for Kier, he is taking his own time. He only got 2 tanks, which is not the scariest, but there is a lot of bio units on the ground. And interference matrix on that Colossus.
Excellent, Michael. Oh, losing the non-disabled Colossus as it was misrallied for just a split second. And these Stalkers are finally down from the high ground because they needed to go defend the Widow Mines. But I think that this was very well played by Kier, and this was honestly misplayed by Zest. We do see another disable going down on the last Colossus. Super Battery Overcharge has been popped, but GG is called, and Kier will take game number 1.
Alright, so TeaDragon. I think some can make a case right now that the best Terran player in Korea right now is Kier. I mean, some people might, argue maybe Maru, but I think in terms of online play and recent results, I think Kier has a case, right?
Sure. I would totally agree with that.
Yeah, and then also in the EU side, I think people can safely say Clem is the best player in the EU. And the thing that both of them has in common is that they do have that happy star next to their CC.
Oh.
Now, my theory is that
Yes.
that Happy Star has some sort of power that gives Terran players maybe some extra energy or extra APM or something that allows them to be the best Terran player in their region. So, I don't know. It can't be proven, but that's my theory.
Do we have a soundboard? We need to play the what was it? The Illuminati sound effect. I think you're onto something, Snoopy. That is, wow. I think you've just solved StarCraft 2 for good. I'm so awed.
Oh man, if only those.
Yeah, if only we could say, you know, this is it, and we have solved it, and yep. But in all seriousness, we did see that Zest's early probe actually was able to delay the barracks from going down, so it did get across the map quickly enough, on this map at least, to be able to catch the SCV before it started building the barracks. So I think that is the purpose of the probe being sent across as early as possible.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. I guess it also kind of allows the Protoss to scout any potential proxies out in the map. And then that kind of allows him to get the response a bit more quicker compared to if they maybe scatter a bit later.
Right. I do like that cute little move by Kier. I don't know if you noticed, Snoopy, but he did pull away the mule before it was about to die because he wanted to preserve that extra 25 minerals. Now, for those of you who don't know, mules actually, they have timed life, and it's timed such that they will make something like a number and a half of trips. So on that last half trip, they will collect the minerals, but their timed life means that they will not have enough time to actually deliver the minerals back to the base. So we do see that, you will see in pro play that some players actually pull away the mule at the very last second just to save those minerals from that last trip.
Yep, that is correct. This has been done for quite a number of years, and I'm not exactly sure who did it first. But I guess, it does make perfect sense. Now, a lot of Terran players down in the lower leagues will probably, not do that because, they have like more attention and focus on other things. But at the top tier players like these, yeah, they do that often from time to time.
All right, now we do see Stim being researched for Cure as well as double Marauder production. The starport has just gone down, and I think we're about to see a bit of aggression from Cure. We do see that these three barracks are, starting to, well, they were just a minute ago, I promise. Okay, there we go. We do see that a couple of Marauders are being produced, and I think that maybe Cure is gearing up for an early game attack.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be it. When you open up with 3 racks like that, it's a good indicator that there is a timing of some sort. And the thing that worries me is that I believe Zest has been working off of only 2 gateways. Only now is he throwing his dirt at 4th gateway. Now, the good news is for Zest is that he's attacking at the same time when Stim is about to finish as well as Combat Shield. And oh, that Widowmine does get the Warp Prism, so no counterplay in terms of the backside. But there is a little bit of harassment here at the natural. Now, Zest, he is going to need to really keep Cure on his side of the base by just harassing like crazy. However, with Stim done, it makes it so much harder to harass.
Yeah, look at that. Only 4 Stalkers are left, and of course, because, like you said, the Warp Prism was picked off, this sort of, little bit of a skirmish potential has really been knocked out for Zest. So now it's just the bio going to be sharking around for the Stalkers. They will immediately blink. Excellent reaction time by Zest, but I'm not so sure about holding this back at home. We do see that another Warp Prism is being produced. Charge is just about to finish. We do see 5 gateways just about to finish as well. So Zest is aware of what is coming. Now, question is, did he find out too late? He is shaving off a few Marines here and there. which is excellent. But with these medevacs, they will be able to heal up the rest of the vial from the stim. Now we do see an immortal is being produced, and actually now that I am not so sure, because this still could go either way in my opinion. We do see some more vials streaming across the map, but Zest is holding the high ground at least for the time being.
Yeah, but look at this. He's supply blocked right now. Only now is the supply did free up because of the pylon, but for the longest time, Zest wasn't able to warp in some additional units. He does now have the supply as well as the gateways to in order to warp in, and also that shield battery is finishing up. So maybe Zest just barely has bought himself enough time. But still quite difficult as there's so much value in this with +1 as well.
Not like this. We do see Zest trying to go for the Widowmine, overestimating the threat that it posed, ignoring the bio that was right in front of him as it gunned down all of those stalkers. And oh my gosh, this is a bloodbath. Now imagine if Zest, instead of floating just that little bit of minerals that he had, imagine if all of that was put into Zealots. I think that he probably had a much better chance, even if the stalkers were focus firing as they were erroneously, as we saw earlier. But now it's just become a waiting game, and honestly, the only way that Zest comes out of this alive is if Cure himself makes a critical error. But at this point, I really doubt that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no other splash damage as well. Maybe a disruptor, he can probably save him, but I mean, reinforcement red dots streaming across the minimap, and I feel like the snowball is in effect. Kier is going to go ahead and get on top of this robo, which means no immortal production.
And that is a huge shutdown, because now there's only one immortal left, and it still will have to chew through all of those marauders all by itself. And now Kier finally does decide to go home, but man, that was costly for Zest.
Yeah, for sure. Now I'm actually quite curious and surprised why Kier did not continue on. I think he should have just continued the pressure, but curiously he has let up and just retreated back home. But you know what? It's okay, because he has done enough damage. Let's take a look at the units lost tab as well as the resources lost. You see a lot more compared to Kier. Zest losing up basically twice as much, and Kier just needs to continue on. Make sure that it doesn't get to a point where Zest has maybe Storm or Disruptors, because those are their Protos's comeback maneuvers, and so you just want to make sure that you don't allow the Protoss to get to that stage where they have a really difficult Protoss army ball to defeat.
Yeah, definitely. Now, how did Kier know that those zealots were coming up to the north side? That is what I want to know. That was some crazy game sense. Or maybe he just scouted it and I was, not attentive enough to notice. Now, we do see this bio ball. Now, look at this. Supported by Liberators and additional Widowmine. Super Battery Overcharge is popped once again. Super Battery, Battery Overcharge, whatever. I call it both. We do see some nice force fields going down. And a High Templar is present to throw some water balloons at the opposing team. But I don't think it's going to be enough. We do see the bio rotating just a little bit back up to the north. We do see a Zealot run by, forcing the liftoff on the third command center. But the third Nexus has been demolished. And I think that this is just going to be a slow and painful death, as you affirmed for Zest.
Yeah, I mean, these charts are getting some damage done, but the question is, can he hold on at the natural now? Oh, that's actually some nice storms, but I believe that is the last storm left here for Zest.
Yeah, I think Kier is, he's starting to get a gauge of what's going on. He realizes, okay, I have enough Widowmines that can function against the Zealots. I also have an army actually completely comprised of Marauders. They are going to take the storms and give Kier game number 2.
Alright, so Zest once again going for that probe sent out. Now this is a later probe though. It is after throwing down the gateway. And so not going to be as early as, let's say, in the first game but just gonna make sure that there are no proxies, because sometimes when one player is up 2-0, they might feel confident enough to just try to throw out some cheeses to get a quick victory, because it's not that bad of a decision, right? I mean, you do have like 2 more lives even if you lose. So,
Right.
not a bad time to cheese out your opponent, but just making sure that is not the case. And in fact, that is not the case, as Cure is opening up pretty standard.
Yeah, I do like the diligence a lot. I mean, I think that we saw in an earlier series, it was Kier versus Bjorn, where in one of the games, both players, I believe, went for a blind command center. And so, it's moves like that, especially in lower leagues, can immediately cost you the game. But Zest, just doing his homework, making sure that there will not be any such shenanigans out of his opponent. But like you said, Cure is up 2-0. This is match point. We have been here before in just this evening, so you have to make sure.
Yeah. And looks like Zest actually sticking it with the Twilight Council. Now, the past 2 games, he's gone for the Blink opening, but hasn't quite worked out. And I would have thought that maybe Zest would have changed it up, go for a different build. But gonna go ahead and stick with this Twilight. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it could still be DTs, but with the Stark coming out of the gateway, I'm gonna predict that it's gonna be, once again, a Blink opening.
Yeah, now he's gonna need something to defend against this 3-Rex opener. Now we do see the Adept Shade actually, getting up into the main, so it may be able to get off a full scout, as well as some harass. Oh, excellent micro, pulling back the injured SCVs. Now, I'm not sure if the Shade actually saw those 2 barracks, but it does see that there are a lot of defensive Marines, and, if I were Zest, I'd be a little bit suspicious right about now.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually a huge scout, because remember in the last game, Kier opened up with the same build. However, the difference is Zest did not see it coming. He was not able to get that crucial scout in. This time around, he does have a bit of a more indicator that he didn't get the scout on the 3rd Rex, but I think he can kind of tell from the amount of units, as well as usually it's like a 3 Rex. I mean, there's not a lot of things that can. I mean, it could always be maybe a 2-1-1 build, but usually it would be a 3 Rex. And so this time around, I would expect that he has a better grip on what's coming. And I would imagine that he will be throwing down his gateways and maybe a shield battery a bit more earlier. As I say that, he is throwing down the shield battery at the 3rd. And we should expect some gateways to be thrown down relatively soon as well.
That's right. Now, we do see that Blink has finished, so these 3 Stalkers up at the front are going to be able to scout the move out. Now, the question is, when is Zest going to put down additional gateways? He will need them for the coming defense. Now, okay, we do see 2 gateways finally going down, as well as a couple of sentries, and +1 attack is actually coming up for the blue Protoss. Now, at the same time, we do see +1 I was about to say melee for a second. +1 infantry upgrades coming out for Cure as well. At the same time, Stim is just about to finish, and the first 2 Marauders, or no, I'm sorry, the first 6 Marauders are now out on the field.
Alright, I am liking this, because the gateways are a bit more faster. He's actually going to have +1 as well during this attack coming from Cure, as his upgrade is about to finish. And yeah, I think he does have a better setup this time around. However, it does still come down to execution, so he can't, kind of count his eggs yet. Let's see how he does micro this.
Yeah, so far Zest is doing a very good job of delaying the bio, coming at it from different angles, and also blinking away while getting a few free kills. Now, let's look back at his 3rd, where there's essentially almost nothing. Now, an excellent force field, excellent set of force fields, chopping off just about a 1/3 of the bio army, making sure that he gets those free kills that he needs in order to sustain this position. And I'm not so sure if Cure is able to continue this attack. Now we do see, where did that other bio come from? Coming down from the south side. It will join up with the rest of the force, working to take down the rocks, but these stalkers are smelling blood. They are going to try to continue shaving down the health of these infantry.
And that is smart, because there is no medevacs to heal these units. When you go for a 3 ranks like this, your starport is heavily delayed. In fact, the starport is only 50% done. Now, of course, the +1 for Cure does finish, but I mean, Zest already had his +1. He's got Charge about to finish as well. Even confident enough to throw down that Dark Shrine. We love those Dark Shrines. Or I guess
that's right.
Oh,
he is also hallucinating a Colossus just to, you know, fake out Cure just a little bit more. Just say, hey, no big deal. You know, I have this tech. How do you like it? But I'm sure at this point, Cure realizes, hey, my bio units are not burning as they should be, and he will get the scan to confirm, hey, that is actually not a real Colossus, and will force Zest to back off just for the time being.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a cute play, throwing down that fake Colossus, and you know that will sometimes trigger the Terran players to just go focus on heavy Viking production. However, because Zest is going for DTs, you know, Vikings is not going to really do too much, except maybe deny that Warp Prism. But oh, a big, huge warp in here. So he is going to go ahead and go for that backdoor stab while defending against his attack. I love this.
Yeah, this is going to be a very crucial moment for Cure to be able to defend. Now, it looks like the main is being overrun by these Zealots. And on the low ground as well, these Chargelots are coming forward a little bit indecisive about where they want to go. But finally, they're going to decide to go to the third just for a split second and move on out. Now, 7 SCVs have already gone down. And keep in mind, the Dark Shrine has been built, and it is actually researching DT Blink. Now, I was wondering why Zest did not save up a few Warpins for those Dark Templar. Now we know why. He's actually saving up all the way until he has DT Blink. I do like that move a lot.
Yeah, and you know what? It's going to be... I think it's going to work out even more because the economic damage that Zest just did with the Charge Lot run by and the Charge Lot drop gonna force Kier to waste all those energy on the Muse to try to come back. And with no energy on those command centers, these DTs can swipe away. But I don't even know if he even needs those DTs.
Look at this. He is just rolling on through, and GG is actually called. Zest staves off the defeat just for one more game.
Alright, once again, sending that early probe. You know, one day I would, if I do get the chance to interview Zest, I would love to ask him this question. Because, you know, I don't see any other Protoss do this. And
yeah, it's a very unique move, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he sends it, like, maybe, you know, if you want to send it early, you know, usually you'll send it, like, after the pylon, the first pylon, but not even sending it before it mines a mineral patch or a mineral round. It's quite unique, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we did see in a previous game that it does actually get across in time to block the barracks, but that is definitely not the case for all maps, and clearly was not the case for this map. So, yeah, that's a good question to ask him. Hey, Zest, why do you do that if it doesn't work on all the maps?
Yeah, because of course, different maps does have different layouts, which means different distances between natural to natural. Now, actually, you know, TeaDragon, this is, I believe, the first time, right, that Cure sent an SCV scout? I don't recall him sending a SCV scout in the previous games.
Oh, that's a good point. I think you're right. I think.
And I think this is the first time he opened up with Reaper as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I do recall that much because he has been trying to, you know, I think either save up gas in previous games for other things and or just, you know, does not favor the Reaper. But yeah, so here we do see that the Reaper is going to come in. Oh, just one shot away. That probe is down on 1 HP. But this Reaper is going to get away from the Adept. Cute little juke move earlier, but yeah. It's going to heal up, stay in the area just to see if it can get additional scouting information later on. And that's about it.
Alright, looks like Zest is sticking to what he loves best, which is that Twilight Council play with the blink opening. Now the first 2 games didn't quite work out. The last game it did work out, but that was because he got a crucial scout on Cure, making sure that he had enough defenses for that 3 ranks push. This time around, I don't think, did he send his okay, he does at least have eyes on the ramp area, but doesn't really have enough information, so he's gonna basically play blind, pretty much so. And we'll see if this is the same build coming out of Cure. But actually, as I say that, no second and third racks.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a 3 Widowmine drop as we have seen in previous games, but that Reaper does confirm a very early Nexus, already almost halfway done before the 4-minute 30-second mark.
Oh my god, did he see the... Oh, he didn't see the meta. Okay, now he does.
Oh man. You know, I always wondered how fun it would be, or, you know, not fun, who knows, it would be to fly a medevac, because once they activate their afterburners, they are ridiculously fast. Look at that! Even a blink can't catch up to them.
Alright. Looks like the Reaper will be a bit more pesky here. Will he get that third? Nope, not quite.
Very impressive though, it still was able to get a couple of kills despite a Stalker being on the high ground. Now, speaking of Stalkers, let's look at the main and the natural of Cure. We do see that these Stalkers are doing their best, dealing some damage, but having to blink on out of there after killing 4 SCVs. A pretty good total.
Oh wow, he's actually warping in more here at the main base, despite scouting the tank there.
Oh, look at that. Zest showcasing pretty decent pickup micro. Keeping all 4 units alive, being 3 Stalkers and 1 Adept. A couple of Stalkers of which he did actually, as you mentioned, warp in. Now, these Stalkers are not... Can they get more kills? In total, 9 SCVs have gone down, so I am sure Zest is pretty decently happy about that.
Yeah, with only 2 Stalker lost as well. Wow, that is pretty nice. Considering he also didn't make like 4 gateways or anything, so yeah, I mean, he got his third Nexus relatively soon, which means that he is going to be sitting pretty. I mean, look at that, 59 workers compared to the 41 of here. Now, of course, that could all change with these Widowmines, but looks like Zest will be on top of it. Immediately pulls his probes in time.
Oh, we do see some cute little Widowmine micro, making sure that the target firing doesn't fire too quickly. More Stalkers on the low ground, cleaning up what is left. But like you said, we are looking at a Protoss that, actually just a second ago, it had about a 20 worker lead over his Red Terran opponent. Now it's starting to look more like a 10 worker lead, a 15 worker lead. So it's evening up just a little bit, but Zest has full 3 base saturation, and his opponent is struggling, or not struggling, but, you know, not capable of getting up to 3 bases just quite yet.
Yeah, in fact, no dirt CC coming out of Cure yet, so he is going to be behind quite a lot in the economic game, and there is no like 4th or 5th Rex either, so it's not like it's going to be like a super, like a semi all-in push of sorts. And with Zest throwing down his extra gateways, getting that +1 as well, getting that Templar Archive, which should allow him for Archon production for that splash damage. I think Zest has a good chance, especially with a nice drop here into the natural. Once again, pulling
Oh
Kier's army
man.
back at home, slowing down this push.
Yeah, Zest is showing that he is a master of manipulating how this army moves. Taking, oh my gosh. Zest playing from behind in this series, taking down an additional 2 medevacs just for free. I think that he is getting quite well set up for the eventual push by Kier. Now look at this, dropping yet again into the main, forcing Kier to respond and respect the fact that 5 more of his SCVs have been killed. Now we do see the Stalkers having to blink back as we do see the bio pushing forward. So Storm will be done, is about 2/3 done, but will it be done in time for this bio? I don't think it will matter because there's just such a huge buffer number of Zealots.
Ooh, that is a lot of Zealots. There are the Storm Tech is about to finish actually, and there are 5 High Templars, no Ghost at all as well. Huge battery overcharge does get activated. However, some force field does segment off, and these High Templars are gonna get sniped down immediately. Only 1 Storm gets off, but these Charge Lock gonna go ahead and join up with the fight. A lot of these Widow Mines get on top of them or do a lot of damage onto the front line Charge Lock. And oh boy, Zest looking a bit scary for him, but with some additional warpins, I feel like he should be able to possibly clean this up.
I agree. We do see some reinforcements all the way back at his natural, but look at this already. The Zealots and the Stalkers are going to clean up the main force, and it doesn't look like Kier is going to be able to hold on to his position. Now, I do want to note earlier, Kier had an excellent idea to just shove forward and take down the High Templar while they still could. GG is actually called. Zest is going to take us to a game number 5. Yeah, that last game was... wow. I mean, Zest did not really handle the push perfectly. I think that his stim was just a little bit late, right? Like, he could have used it by the time the bio was knocking on his door. Of course, his High Templar did get sniped behind the 3rd by that bio that did shove forward, and that did change the game just a little bit for the time being, but you know, eventually it was just too many Marauders, too many Stalkers, and Kier knew that he really did not have a chance, a realistic chance of continuing the game, and so he did end up tapping out.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of combination of little things, like Zest was able to pick off like a couple of workers in the beginning with those with the Stalker play, along with the Warp Prism drop, and then later on, while Kier was trying to move out across the map, he once again dropped into the natural, pulling Kier's army back. And by the time he kind of defended that, his +1 was already finished, I believe. Or what? I think it was. Yeah, I think his +1 was already finished. Now, when your +1 is finishing, you want to be knocking at the door of your opponent. You don't want to be across the map at your main natural, because those little eke of time. You never know like what your when your +1 or basically your first upgrade for your opponent is going to be finishing. So you want to take advantage of that time period where you're up +1 versus +0. However, that was not the case, of course, last game, and Zest perfectly executed the harass and was able to, the last big fight was not the prettiest, but Zest was way ahead, far way ahead, and was able to close it out.
Yeah, definitely. That game ended up being still relatively one-sided, despite the faults in the final engagement. I agree with you. The harass was pretty much impeccable. I mean, we did see that Warp Prism definitely getting its money worth with those 3 Stalkers and single Adept. Just making sure, go back into the mineral line, go back and, get some more kills and delay the 3rd command center if it ever comes more and just force Kier into an impossible situation. Now, speaking of impossible situations, I'm kind of feeling it for Kier once again. He's going to have to face DTs in this game, as well as a proxy a proxy gateway. So we do see that Zest is trying to get pretty aggressive here.
Yeah, this is gonna be really chaotic. I feel like, because I don't think Zest has any idea that this is gonna 3 racks. He doesn't have a shield battery at home. He really needs to throw down one right now. But the DT is gonna go across the map right now, and because of his proxy, it's gonna be arrived a bit quicker compared to Cure, who's still halfway on the middle mark here in the pathway. And oh, that turret is about to finish though.
Oh. Okay, DT is dealing some damage in the natural. That missile turret is up, but there are no units to actually take care of the DT. 12 SCVs going down. Bio is just going to shove on forward. Stim just finishes, but they see that there is no third base, no third nexus on the low ground, and now Cure is in a dire situation. He needs to make something happen right here, right now, or he's going to have to suffer from this SCV loss for the rest of the game.
Alright, Blink does finish for Zest, which means he should have micro capabilities with these uplink stalkers. But really, I mean, he doesn't really need to harass with these stalkers. I think he's perfectly fine if you just stick them at home and defend. But I think, you know, knowing that there's really not going to be any drops anytime soon, that he can just go across the map and dwindle or force the stim out of the Terran player, so that he can kind of weaken them and possibly just deplete their numbers. And, he's doing a really great job putting on the pressure while he's trying to establish his third base.
Yeah, now props to both players, because Cure, as we saw earlier, actually did not stim all of his army. He only stimmed a portion of it because he too is aware that he does not have healing capabilities at the moment. Now these stalkers are just going to blink right on top of the ramp. Wow, that, I mean, when did this happen? When did the stalkers get here? Zest being very active with the stalkers across the map, now prompting Cure to send part of his bio to the third nexus to again try to make something happen. Now these stalkers are still doing damage in the main, taking down now 4 or 5 more SCVs yet again. Cancel on the third nexus, but I think that this game clearly has gone in favor of our blue Protoss.
Yeah, now he unfortunately got his third nexus canceled, but I mean, picking up 12 workers, he is going to be in the 20 worker supply lead, so I think he is okay with canceling his nexus in favor of picking off of 12 SCVs. I'm going to go ahead and replant that nexus, and does save a bunch of his stalkers. Now, what does he have to follow up with this? He does have charge on the way, but I'm not quite sure that's going to finish in time before this attack finishes, or this attack comes across the map. He does have some nice shield batteries to heal up in case, so I think, yeah, he just needs to hold on to this dirt base, and he should be okay, as there is no dirt CC coming out of the Terran.
Yeah, I do like this move a lot by Zest, making sure that his third base will be safe. He knows that he needs to get it up, and then he's good for the rest of the game. Now he puts down a shield battery because he knows that this is probably Cure's next target, which it is. We do see a large portion of the bio, also backed by 3 medevacs coming all the way up through the north. Now, funnily enough, Zest is going to be able to see it because he did send up a probe just to plant that pylon there. Pylon gets canceled immediately, so now Zest knows what is up. Both players know that they're about to head into a critical engagement.
Alright, oh, that is a sick force field.
No way, Zest has done it. Look at this, shredding through the rest of the bio. I mean, you have no choice as Cure but to pick up and get on out of there. What a well played. At first I thought those first 2 force fields were okay, but then the bio, you know, still slipped by. And then the next 2 force fields on the retreating path of the bio, using the first 2 as, you know, an L-shaped sort of hook to trap that bio in. What an excellent play by Zest.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, you know, being a Protoss player myself, like, that gave me a little bit of nerd chills, because I do love me some really good plays of force fields, and whew, that was so great to see.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All Alright, I do like how Zest is kind of teching up now. He has stayed on mainly gateway units, but he is adding those Colossus, that Thermal Lance upgrade as well. Getting his +2 weapons attack. Continuously harassing with these DTs, and I mean, why would you not? You know, Kira is still up on 2 bases. Not a lot of scans left. And here we go.
First Colossus is out, but the boys have been pulled. Now, they are going to be very sad to learn that that Colossus is just going to be able to shred right through them. Now, force fields are pretty decent, but they only catch the majority of the SCVs, which is their purpose, to be used as a buffer. But battery overcharge has been popped. Another force field going down. The rest of the bio is about to fall to the zealots that are trickling in, and reinforcements are not going to be enough to break through this Protoss army. 2 Colossi, in addition to the one that is already out, are going to be built. 22 additional SCVs have been dropped. I mean, this is it. This is the beginning of the end. Zest has taken a massive supply lead, catching out the fact that this will be a Doom drop. Actually, has Stalkers on the high ground, but look at that. All of these medevacs are going to drop out quick enough to make sure that the low ground Stalkers are taken care of. Now, he needs more moves like that if he's going to keep up something like this. Okay. Stalkers are going to blink on out of there, recognizing that this is a Doom drop and that he may not have enough to actually take care of this with the Zealots alone. Dark Templar are coming up from the first Nexus, and GG is called. Zest has done it. 3-2, a reverse sweep.